Here we are again at the Baxter Effecr podcast. Your host, John Baxter. We have an exciting show today. And of course, we're going to cover holistic health, one of our primary favorite topics. And it really doesn't matter how old you are. There's people that have been doing this their whole lives, whether it's a prenatal, child, adult. People have been here and dealt with major issues. From a holistic health standpoint, I'm about ready to bring on a guest. Her name is Julie E. Health, and her website's julieehealth.com. She's a functional energy medicine practitioner. She's the author of No Diet, founder of Julie E. Health, a clinic and online educational portal for 26 years. She helps women, men, and children heal themselves through simple health solutions. Her mission is simple: science-based tools for everyone to let them know that healing is easier than what is portrayed in the media. And isn't that true? So she's had a 20-year-old son that's really never gotten sick. So that's a portion of like her, if you're around her, and I've been around her, I've met her a couple times in person, amazing lady. And she discovered this amazing thing that we talk about all the time. It's called telomeres. If you want to know the future of health, you better know telomeres, because that's a simple way to measure your health. And as you can see, when I bring her on, she's had the telomeres of a 12-year-old. So I'm going to bring her on. This is Julie E. Health.
Hi, John.
There she is.
Hi, how are you?
Hi, Julie. How's it going? I mean, I love that smile. You're in California.
Yes.
Give a background, Julie, on you.
Well, in high school, someone made some comments to me about being really fit, and it stuck with me. And so from that moment on, I decided I wanted to be fit for the rest of my life. And I was 16 at the time. So technically, that was the beginning of my career. I started working at a gym, teaching aerobics and fitness and step and sculpt and all the things. And ended up with I went to college to have fun, but figured out I needed a career. So I ended up getting a master's in public health and also nutrition, and a minor in exercise physiology. And then one thing led to another. I was working in New York City doing all of those things. And then I found my way to California. I felt destined to be here. The sunshine and every time I found a healthy product and I flipped it over, it was made in California. And I was like, that is where I need to go. So I made my way to California, and that led to energy medicine and QRA and all kinds of holistic things. And that's really, everything was just a stepping stone to where I am at now. So my career engulfs like fitness and exercise and yoga and meditation and nutrition and eating and mindfulness and all the functional medicine and functional energy stuff.
What did you feel like when you were on this precipice of this holistic health? Because you're really a pioneer, right? That's what you're really like. If you outside looking in, you're a pioneer of holistic health. Prior to everyone saying biohacking, prior to everyone saying eat healthy, why? Oh, it doesn't matter. Eat GMOs and pesticides. It's okay. You were saying the opposite. And tell us a little bit about that experience of like, now is the time where, I'm sure it feels good that you were right. You were on the cutting edge of things. You were right. And what does it feel like?
That's a great question, and I appreciate that question because it sucked. It was like I was ridiculed for bringing like vegetables and crudité to every party, but it was always the first snack that disappeared. I've been 10 to 12 years ahead of everybody. So when I was into nutrition, everyone was like, oh, you're so healthy. And then I got into functional medicine. No one ever heard of that. And people were starting to come into nutrition. Then I got into biohacking, and people were just getting into functional medicine. And then I got into anti-aging, and people are now into biohacking. So I've just been like waiting for everyone to catch up, because I sounded crazy all the time. And I was like, so extreme is like how everyone said it. And now it's like, okay, I'm in my 40th year in doing this. And, I've accomplished, I think, what everyone's looking for, raising a healthy kid, finding the fountain of youth. And so now it's like starting to get rewarding and a little more exciting. But it was definitely like the Linus Pauling effect. They threw him in jail for thinking outside the box. And luckily that didn't happen to me, but it wasn't easy, actually.
Yeah, it couldn't have been easy because the people that were likely just doing conventional medicine, right? You said you did functional like at the beginning. Now everyone wants to be functional because they see that traditional conventional medicine is just writing a prescription and throwing it in their face. While you were here, they were there. They might have been making some pretty good profits and money doing their conventional medicine, but we came from holistic health and the unconventional medicine, where it's like really pay your way, invest in your own health with what you have outside of insurance. So that was probably the biggest pain, because you were more passionate. You were probably a little bit more educated, of course, in a different sector. And I feel you. I feel you, because the passions there are actually really making a difference. Have you ever heard regular doctors, even medical doctors, say, "You're actually doing what I always wanted to do"?
No, I've never heard that comment, actually.
Okay.
That would be nice if they did. No, I think over the course, I've had a clinic in LA for 26 years. And anytime someone was like, my doctor's really interested in you and how you've helped me, and then the doctor would refer someone to me, and then I would never hear from that doctor again. And it's because I think they were just jealous, like I was healing their patients. And I did have a meeting with a medical doctor who was doing some holistic things at the time, and we were talking about partnering up. And then suddenly the flow stopped again, because the people were healing that I was seeing, and they weren't going back to their regular doctors. So I've never really had good affiliations with medical doctors. And no, I don't think I've had that level of respect from them.
Okay. Okay. I'm not a doctor or anything, but the crazy thing is I get that all the time. They're mad and jealous in the sense that they were like, "How come you're doing what I wanted to do?" And I'm like, "You can."
You still can. Today's the best day.
Under the premise of functional medicine. Am I correct?
Yeah, I mean, at the functional medicine conferences these days, there are a lot of medical doctors. And my clients are always asking, like, do you have a medical doctor you can refer me to for all the basic stuff? And sadly, I really don't. But, there aren't that many. It would be amazing if they were. But when I send people to, because people want to use their insurance, right? They pay for it, so they want to use it. I can run lab tests on them, but they're like, well, let me let my regular doctor do that. So I send them with a list of things I want them to get checked. And almost every single time the doctor's like, we're not going to run those. Like, this is what we're going to do. Like, and their lab doesn't give us any information what they do.
Right. They fear your customer out of coming to probably come back to see you.
Yeah, they're like these are unnecessary. They've never heard of TH2 or whatever it is. They're just not familiar. So it leads the patient to have to then pay out of pocket for lab testing that gives us information, because the medical lab tests, first of all, they have ranges that are like way too large. So it's kind of like if you're 5'3", a normal weight, if you're 5 feet 3 inches tall, a normal weight could be like from 100 to 160 pounds. And like, we know that that's not healthy, but like their ranges are just too big. So we need to narrow the ranges so at least we get some information. But most of the time when people get blood draw at the doctor, they give it back to them and they're like, oh, we're going to watch this, or you're fine, even though things are out of range. And that to me is just doesn't even make any sense. And so I run functional lab tests that give us like hard data. So now a person that's paying for insurance is like, why do I have to pay another $300 or $400 for a lab test? And so sometimes they don't want to. And, so it messes with them, right? Like I do energy testing, so I can diagnose and treat a lot about what's going on with people. But sometimes we need hard data, like your hormones. Hormones are the best example. Medical doctors want to draw blood to do hormones, but if you draw blood, it's like, this is what your cortisol is at 10:50 a.m., but gives us no on a Monday, whatever the day is. Like, but when we do real hormones, we look at the 24-hour cycle, like, and we see your pattern and your circadian rhythm and where your hormones are at when you're sleeping versus in the morning. And do they go up high and crash, or it's a whole cycle of understanding your hormones. So the medical system really just, their lab testing, I think, is just minimal.
Can I bring something up here?
Of course. Isn't that what we're here for?
Yeah. So it's like, this is what I've been saying recently, right? You always have your thing that you've witnessed and you notice, like what you're exactly expressing is that they're actually gambling with people's health. You're actually asking for the real data and you're getting persecuted. You're getting persecuted for wanting to give the patient the real data. Well, they're fearing you and fearing the customer into data that's obsolete, and then making a decision on that. And so they're gambling and you're trying to be more of finding the target of issue.
Exactly. And I think that they're making it harder really for the patient more than me. They're confusing them because the patient's coming to me to get healthy and well. Their friend told them something about me. I don't advertise. It's all word of mouth. And so they're coming here to get answers. They start feeling better, and then they want to dig in and go, or they're programmed, I need my annual lab test. So they go to the doctor, who then puts fear into them about everything under the sun. I've lost a couple of clients. This little boy, he was like 4 years old, maybe 5. This is a handful of years ago. He wasn't sleeping. He didn't feel good. He wasn't playing. And he really also wasn't sleeping. He was laying in bed all day, like so sad for a little child. He was not out playing. The mom brings him to see me, and then she goes back to the doctor, and he does not approve of the supplements because they say not promoted by the FDA or whatever it says on the bottle of vitamins. So she didn't want to do what I told her to do. So this poor little boy, like the mom never came back. And I'm just thinking how the fear that they put into people. So I have something that I have all of my clients do when they go to the medical doctor. I have them write a note to themselves and leave it on their car seat, so that when the note will say, I'm going just to get information from the doctor. I'm not going to take drugs. I'm not going to do surgeries. I'm just going to get information. I am healthy. I'm working on my health. I'm working with Julie. I'm just getting information. So that after the doctor puts all fear, you need to cut this out and do this. And if you don't do that, you're going to get this disease or whatever they say to them. And they're all in panic, and they come back to the car and they see their note like right away. Because if they leave the doctor's office, they start like panicking, and now they don't know what to do. And it, depending on the person, how long will it take them to come back to like, oh yeah, I forgot I just went there for information. So whoever's listening to this that's new, write yourself a note. You're going to get medical clearance. If they can't find something wrong, it's not a medical condition. It's a nutritional and energetic and emotional. There's a scar, there's infection. It's something the medical system can't figure out. Then you're just going there to rule out cancer or disease. They're not good at diagnosing symptoms and what they mean. That's where holistic and natural medicine people come in. I can treat things before it becomes a disease. So, and I learned that the hard way, because when my son was born, I went to the first well visit, and the doctor made me think I was about to kill my child. Those were actually his words to me. And I was like panicking. And I chose him as a pediatrician because I met him at a holistic conference, and I interviewed him, and I was like, okay, I only want someone holistic. And this is 20 something years ago. So, I was 20 years less knowledgeable about everything, and the world was different also then. So I chose a holistic doctor. I went there with my son when he was about 2 weeks old, and the guy was like, "You're going to be responsible for killing your child." I'm like bringing my newborn back to the car in the little thing that you cradle them in, and I'm like panicking and shaking. By the time I got him into the car, I was like, okay, he doesn't know what I know, and I know health. And then that was it. I never brought my son to a doctor ever again. That was the only time in his entire life.
When my daughter was born, the nurse says, "We're going to give your daughter a K shot." And I go, "No, you're not. No, you're not." And she goes, "What do you mean?" "No, I'm not." And she's basically like, she hounded me, and she was like, so I was like, and it's obvious now that because RFK and Trump came out about it, but the tests prove that, certain vaccines and certain things have caused autism in children. Just came out. It's true. There's a portion of it called Tylenol, but there's also a portion of it called like K-shot. So I told the lady, the K-shot will give my daughter autism. And she's like, no, that's not true. And I go, "How many kids have you done this with?" And she was like, and she even said herself, "My daughter has autism." Her daughter got the K shot, and her daughter, the lady giving the K shot, her own daughter has autism. I'm
But it's
like,
not connected. Right.
yeah, and I'm just like, let me sign the waiver. They make you, if you disagree, they make you sign a waiver like you've killed somebody. Fine, just sign the waiver. We're never going to help you. Basically, I'm like,
Right.
here you go, I'm done. Like here, like I'm scared. Like, so there's a fear component, but I wanted to give you the stage on something pretty amazing. This was the reversing your telomeres. I'm going to give you the complete stage, and just go on and on. Go all the way through like the answers and the scars and the trauma of how you did this.
So I didn't know I was doing it at the time. I was living in California, and I was obviously working in functional medicine, and I learned QRA, which is quantum reflex analysis, and I was just doing, that's all I was doing. I was healing my body, and I wouldn't say I had any health problems at the time. I was just learning and I was investigating. And so the with QRA, the first step that we do, the most important thing, well, I have made this the first step. And let me rewind or pause on that for a second. After 40 years of practicing, I have shrunk health into 3 steps. And the first step is you have to have a biofield. And a biofield is a scientific word discovered in the 70s. And it's like an aura. It's like your personal space. It's like the space around you. And it's a plasma energy field. So just as everyone's looking at a device, and you might have a plasma computer or TV, but you can't see anything. So it's the space around you. And this discovery by Fritz Albert Popp was that when your biofield is intact, healing is limitless. And so the thing that destroys the biofield is all of our devices. And 20 years ago, we barely had the devices that we have today. We didn't even have the flip phone yet, I think. And so I got a flip phone and it started electrocuting me. I literally couldn't hold it in my hands, which led me to the discovery of EMF and EMF remediation. So we simply put this little sticker on your phone and it blocks the EMF and the harm coming out of your phone. Here's another one, my other phone. So it's a little sticker. You almost can't even really see it. It's flat. 20 years ago, it was giant and it looked like a wart on the back of your phone, but I still used it. And that was it. My friends made fun of me and I was like, I don't care. I like my brain. My hand doesn't get electrocuted when I have this thing on my phone. And fast forward again, of course, we're talking about all the harms of EMF. So I did EMF remediation on all of my devices and even on my entire home. The term for your home is called Vastu, or for your office or your space. When you EMF remediate and feng shui, in a way, it's what's called Vastu. So I remediated my office, my clinic, my home, and I lived in what we call a unified healing field. So I was completely blocking out all of that, like those waves, like, EMF is like this around you, like it's like chaotic energy. And when you remediate it, you make it like smooth, like a nice symphony. So that was a big part. And that's why that's my step number one. The second thing is I took precise custom nutrition for my today body, is what I call it. So today, whatever's going on in my body, energy is always in motion and everything changes, especially if you're a woman, right? It changes every week for years. And then if you're training for a marathon, or you're going through divorce, or you're planning a wedding, like there's different levels of energy or stress in your body. So updating and changing your nutrition program is really important for your today body. And so I was taking also cell resonant nutrition, which means that whatever I'm taking into my body is matching the same energy and frequency as my body. And when you do that, you get a 1 + 1 = 3 effect. So I started taking really high quality cell resonant nutrition. I had the EMF remediation, and then I started working on my scars. And that is my step 3 step of the 3 steps to health. Step 3 is that all of your current health ailments and problems stem from your scars, traumas, tattoos, piercings, biopsies, and dental work and injuries. And so you could say, but Julie, I had that when I was 3. Yes, it's plaguing you for your entire life, but you were young and you're vibrant and you had stem cells and you were active, and problems don't happen for years. They don't show up. So we say it takes 20 years to take down an organ or gland. And so what I'm saying is that when you're born, you're this perfect little being and energy is flowing everywhere throughout your body. And then you fall and then you get a little dent. Think of it like a car. How many dents until that car is a lemon, right? And then it doesn't run anymore. Some cars get banged up and you can still see them. They're still putting along or driving great. Some cars get 1 or 2 dents and boom, they don't even work anymore. So everywhere in our body, there's energy, or there should be. And energy runs through these channels, the meridians, the chakras, the energy centers, right? So if you get hit in the head by a baseball when you're 5 or 8, now you might have a little dent in these meridians. They take you to the medical doctor, and as John and I were talking about, they're not going to see anything. They're going to do the CAT scan or MRI, and they're going to go, you're not bleeding. But what they don't know is now there's a little dent in a meridian. And if it's over the ear, it could be the liver and gallbladder. Then you fall off your bicycle, or you're in a car accident and you get whiplash, or you fall on your tailbone, skateboarding, snowboarding, surfing, you get hit on the head with a surfboard. So all these little dents over the course of your lifetime, they take a meridian, and instead of working 100%, after this dent, it's 99%. And after that, maybe it's 98%. Fast forward, you're 30 or 40 years old, and you're like, I don't know why I have sinus issues, or I don't know why my back hurts so much. And the medical system, of course, is going to tell you your discs are compressed and you need surgery. But the health system is going to tell you, oh, it's coming from that scar on your head. And if we do energy things and mud therapy, which really was the key to my reversal of my telomeres, the mud therapy. So mud is topical. It looks exactly like it sounds. You take a dehydrated powder and you mix it with a liquid, and it looks like chocolate pudding, and you put it on your liver or you put it on your shoulder, and it pulls 50% of the toxins out. It's a heavy metal. It's like a chelation. You pull it out of your body and you instantly increase the flow through that meridian. And so mud therapy is one of my number one. If you want to heal your body, mud therapy is the way to go, because there are heavy metals and toxins everywhere in the environment, and we need to get them out of our body. So I truly believe that the mud therapy is what really, it's the combination of all the things, but the mud therapy is what made things more permanent. And that's how you get permanent healing in your body. So if you say that I got better, but then it came back, it didn't come back. It's that there's more layers, or there's more infection, or It's because of a scar, which reflexes to other organs or glands, taking them down. Does that make
Yeah,
sense?
this is so interesting. And we actually can prove what she says too. So this is not like, not only has she found like some vein of gold while digging through all this stuff, but we actually see it too. We actually see it too. Incisions, cuts, scars. I'm just trying to verify what she says. Like you don't think that a contusion on your head is just a contusion?
Here's
Look,
an, I'm trying to get you without a glare, a sample of, oh, this is actually a video, putting mud on someone's navel area where they had some liposuction or a surgery. So it looks just like a mud pack. It just looks just like mud. Like here's, I have some little kids. He fell on his nose, or, banged his nose. The nose, everything on the head reflexes to and shuts down the intestines. So traumas to the head are super important to heal. Here's a mud pack on the liver. So it's just about the size of the palm of your hand. You put it on the body. I didn't mean to interrupt.
how do we get some of that?
On my website, I have a whole bunch of mud therapy courses, and you could also buy the supplies. It's really easy to do, and I walk you through it in all the courses. And the courses are really inexpensive. I want everyone to have access.
I love that. I love that. And like what I was saying is we have a scanning device that can tell like instantly what is a chronic disease. Well, a chronic disease is a cellular impairment, usually a bacteria, mold, parasite, bacteria, or a toxin, right? Five kind of categories typically. And guess where they love? This is what the scanner says. They love a place that's weak. So a scar is a place where they can live in. A scar or a contusion is a place of weakness. So what she says is very valuable, because you would think, oh, I'll just get that surgery. And then what we've seen is, well, you got that incision on your kidney, or you got that incision. That's where the growth of this huge bacteria is living in your body, giving you the issues. And because of that incision, it's not going to stop. You got to do something more. So I can verify and vouch for what she's saying is absolutely true, because if there's nothing to hang on to, what's it going to grab onto? Healthy cells is very like slippery. There's nothing to really hang into, because that cell is strong and powerful, and it's not like you can just slide right in there. It needs a scar tissue, it needs a trauma, it needs your mental, your mental game to be depressed, weak, anxiety, stress. And you could fall victim to this very easily. And I love that you're offering this to the general public, Julie.
Yeah, it's a service we've been doing in our clinic for about 20 years. I used to have a person that just all day long was doing mud therapy, and we had a white carpet, and we figured it out. We just did it. We covered the carpet, we mud because it's really dirty and messy, but it was so necessary that we just did it. The way that you just described it, I'm just gonna use the words how I describe it is, when you get a scar, now energy's not running through the skin, and skin is a live organ. And so when energy stops running through that skin, now blood flow doesn't go there. Now vitamins and minerals don't go there. And then the body goes, that's a perfect place for a garbage can. And so all your garbage piles up. And that's what you were saying, John. Now that area is so vulnerable and weak, and anything can come in and hang out there. The mold, the toxins, the bacteria, the parasites, they love those areas of weakness.
So let's talk about plastic surgery, right? People have boob jobs, facelift, tummy tuck. One of the things is when you give birth and you get a C-section. All these are scar tissues. Can you name off some of the importance of this, of like protecting yourself?
Yeah. Well, first of all, don't give in to the medical system and and take the C-section. I will tell you that I reversed my telomeres and I was so healthy, but then the C-section slowly was degrading because it was the combination of the C-section and a big fall that I had that I didn't really give enough attention to that fall. I did a handstand and the door swung open and I fell and like I was like more concerned about a shoulder I had previously injured, so I focused on I was home alone with my baby, and so didn't want to hurt my shoulder, but I allowed my whole body to fall on the ground and bang on the ground a few times. But then I had to get up and I was a mom. So what do? You keep going. And I didn't realize, even though I talk about scars, I didn't consider that that fall was such a big deal. And over the course of the next like 15 years, all these weird things were happening and I was living in mold. And so, you got to peel away all the different pieces of it. And I kind of forgot your question about that you
No,
specifically said, but it's the delivery scars. I speak at a lot of menopause conferences and I work with a lot of menopausal women. All of their problems started after the birth of their child, all of them. And there's a website called c-sectionscars.com, and they have proven that C-sections reflex to and cause pain to the neck, the back, and the shoulders. And so all of these women, because it's a reflex, like the problem's not at the C-section. Although you all know somebody who can't feel, it's numb in that area where the C-section is. And so let's look at what happens is that you get you're 9 months carrying this person, they come alive, and now you're responsible for them, and you had major abdominal surgery, which requires so much nutrition and healing, but you're giving away all of your nutrition in your milk. You're not sleeping, you're barely eating, you're exhausted, you're mentally stressed. So you don't recover from that surgery well. Like you aren't sitting there like, oh, let me take 5,000 billion units of vitamin C and let me rest and relax for 2 weeks because I just had major surgery. You're like the opposite. So you're on go because you have a newborn. And so that's why new moms like are exhausted and depleted, dehydrated and tired. And about 5 to 7 years later, when their kids are finally in school, they're like, I'm a train wreck, I need help. And most practitioners are not looking at the scar as a place we need to treat. But so that scar is reflexing to another part of their body. The C-section usually shuts down the adrenals. It can block the flow towards the feet, leading to inflammation in the ankles and the feet that goes completely misdiagnosed. And then they might put somebody on diuretics to flush out the fluid, but they're not looking at the problem. So then you're in the medical model. The diuretics lead to other health problems, which lead to more medicine and so on and so on. And most people are not treating the C-section, but they're treating the adrenals because now the women have adrenal fatigue and now their cortisol is elevated because the scars are pulling on the fascia, which raises your cortisol. It's like this whole domino effect. And then fast forward, you get to menopause and they just want to put you on hormone replacement therapy when the hormones are at the end of the dominoes. It's the last domino. It's like the scar, the trauma, the nutrient deficiency, the toxicity, the infection, and then the hormones go. So if you're just treating the hormones, that's okay. It's a Band-Aid. You want to feel better, but the hormones are not going to recover all the way until you heal all the other parts, which really is the scar. So we do the mud therapy, we do internal nutrition, and the mud pulls the toxins out and increases the flow. And we have this other device called the scar release technique, which is microcurrent, which puts electricity back into the scar tissue and brings it back to life and softens it. And it's this tiny little device that I'll show you. It's literally like, smaller than my hand. There's two of these, and you trace along the scar. And the first time I had this done to me, they were like, let me treat your C-section. Like I've mud therapied it like so many times with every different other part of my body. It's not an issue. 5 minutes of this scar treatment on the C-section, and I felt 15 years younger. It was unbelievable. It just like disconnected all the threads of the fascias where every little thing is pulling. And so
What is inside of a scar? Like, what does it consist of? Like,
I mean, I think every
is
scar,
it like
every well,
connective
I know that
tissue?
every scar that's greater than 2 inches has infection. And I don't know what it is about the C-section, but it's usually the left side of the C-section that takes the longest to heal or that tests the weakest for
Is it
when
the left side on the person's body or when you're facing the body?
of the person's body, which really is like on the descending colon, which that energy channel runs down to the left foot. So it's like this whole section of the body. And then the scar itself, the scar tissue gets hardened and it's depolarized. And now these unhealthy cells are probably going to reproduce more unhealthy cells. So it becomes this like thick, tight fascia ball of, where it's like so hard, especially if you could see the scar and it's pink and thick, like on someone's arm sometimes. They're like, oh, people didn't pay attention to that. Um, they didn't treat it well. They might have treated it with vitamin E, but that doesn't get rid of the infection. And my take on it is that when they go in with the scalpel, instantly there's infection that goes in there, like from whatever's in the air, or maybe the scalpel may or may not have been clean, or the person's own nutrition. Because you get a paper cut and everyone's like, wash it so you don't get an infection. We've had like 3,000 of those in our lifetime. There's definitely infection in the body, and I think it just travels fast and duplicates.
Yeah, absolutely. And this is just such great information. We're kind of talking about a lot of cool stuff, and I know people are just going to be enthralled because this is cutting edge, and you have been doing this a long time. So this is probably the first time a lot of people have heard of this, but it's just total common sense when you really look at what you've been working with and the end goal and the end results of all these people you've helped over the years, where they could be looking in the wrong places when they could just take advantage of something very simple and easy that makes a lot of common sense, that they could reach out to you. So we had posted her website at the bottom here, Julie E Health. And if someone wanted to contact you, Julie, how would they contact you, and where are you at?
I'm in the beach cities in Los Angeles, and I work with people remote all over the world. And believe it or not, my remote clients often heal sometimes better than the people in person, because they have to listen and do the work and really master it themselves because they're somewhere else in the country. So I work with people everywhere. I have a pretty big YouTube channel. My Instagram is at Julie E Health. All of my channels are at Julie E Health. You can reach out through the website, email, call, text, however you get there. But we don't answer DMs too quickly on Instagram or Facebook. So better to reach out more directly to us. There's introductory courses on the website. There's a do-it-yourself. If you don't have the time or the means to do one-on-ones, you can work your way through the DIY section. There's 8 steps. It could take you up to 8 months, and you can keep growing your health. And please take advantage of the mud therapy courses. We also do mud therapy in the mouth, like on the dental infections. Yeah. So there's a whole separate section on internal mud therapy. It's a different powder. And the reason, if you think about it, is because the gums don't have a blood supply. And so between the gums having no blood supply and the lymph in the neck area, and the lymph doesn't have a pump, if you've ever had your wisdom out or any dental work where they've injected in your mouth, you still have pharmaceuticals in your gums causing TMJ, TMD, all kinds of problems. And I have seen drastic changes in people's entire health from healing their mouth, the mouth and the teeth. So everything on the head is a much bigger deal than a trauma or a scar anywhere else on the body. And so we can't treat the head until we get you healthier, but our goal is to get to the head. And so we have internal mud in the mouth, we have topical mud. Yeah, please use all those courses. I really made them for you.
Yeah, and that's how you sign up. You visit the website. You would select what, contact you, or would
You
you go
can
to
select
courses?
you well, if you want to contact, you contact us. You can email, it's info@juliehealth.com, or you can do it through the website. You can find my free ebook on the website, which is about 6 or 8 pages, which will go a little bit more into what John and I have been talking about. You can just buy a course and start there. You can go to the DIY section and start there. And then, of course, you could buy all the products, which are, there's a mud therapy kit. The DIY section will show you how to get to the EMF stickers for your devices. The direct shopping site is shop.juliehealth.com. There's all kinds of bundles and kits in there. So my tagline is simple health solutions. If you are interested in finding me, I have made it simple for you. You'll find me, you'll reach out, you'll dip your toe into some of the courses so you can learn some more of the basic information. I walk you through like step 1 through step 3. Like there's a starting place. Like a lot of people that are listening or interested in biohacking, you may be following all the famous people that are out there that you've heard of, but they do not teach you how to build a foundation. And once you have a foundation, you can't build a house without a foundation. Once you have a foundation, health comes quicker. So you may snub the sticker, but don't, because that is the starting point. If you don't put a sticker on your device, as soon as you do all these health things and feel better, the second you grab your phone, your body starts to depolarize. And that's when, what John was saying, like you get weaker, your frequency goes down, and those bugs just will love you faster when your frequency is that low.
Yeah, and this is so exciting. Like I'm gonna order some. I'm gonna do it because I want to give our people some of the best options out there, and that are. I mean, what do you have to lose? I mean, you have nothing, and you have everything to gain. It's just
Every
like, yeah, it's just it's great. I mean, look how healthy and happy you look. I mean, I'm not even going to ask your age, but you look super healthy, Julie, and you can achieve this too. The telomeres of a 12-year-old. How did you figure all this stuff out? She kind of went over it today, and we wanted to make sure that not only could people come and find you and take advantage of your services, but I know we were going to just cover a couple topics because we kind of share a couple things, and that's advanced technologies, things that are out there, but people need to be educated and learn a little bit more about. Am I right? It's just like, if you don't know what exists, then how do you know? Like, you're going to be subjected to conventional medicine. We were sounding the alarm, functional medicine, functional medicine. That was a little waveform we were sending to you at home to look at, like, before you get too deep into something that may not be your best option. So, like, one of the things we talk about here is med beds, and we have everything from grounding, which is a grounding technology that you basically put around your bed, and it discharges you just as if you were standing barefoot outside.
Excellent.
And the benefits outweigh a lot of pretty much a lot of things, all types of supplements and this type of thing. And there she has it. She has a little blanket, it looks like.
This is the anti-aging bed pillowcase, which I just disconnected to show you, but it's where my clients sit. I have them sit and lie on this when they're here, and I ground them with a patch, so we double ground. I've been sleeping on the grounding bed since 2012, and it's just a game changer. And I love my anti-aging bed. And this is your pillowcase. And some of my little clients, before they're ready to dive into the whole mattress cover, they get this because it's like, it's like almost my whole body. So
Yeah.
I take it when I travel so that I could be grounded when I'm on the go. And, in terms of my tagline of simple health solutions, I don't think it gets any easier than when you get into bed to be grounded or healed by John's med beds or amazing mattresses. And I just want you to know that is, my son was going to college, and I was like, okay, how do we stay healthy? There's going to be 50,000 kids, 150,000 devices. So he sleeps on the anti-aging bed mattress cover for all 3 years.
That's great. That's great. Yeah, that's one of our number one things. And, it's important that, people ground if they're using frequencies. It's kind of a duality there where you can ground from frequencies. You can even ground from all the negative lighting, fluorescent flickering bulbs, and EMFs, Wi-Fi, cell phone, you name it. So
you have the beds, and that's something people could buy and use at home. It's not a hell complicated, because there's a client's always sending me a place you can go to sleep where they have a med bed, but you actually have what you can do in your own home, right?
Yeah, there's some things out there that are kind of, there's a lot of names of things, right? Ours can data analyze you, measure you before and after. The scanning technology is extremely advanced. That's how we're able to even figure out that scars are a mainstay for bacteria, mold, fungus, parasites, toxins. So when we're talking about MedBed, we're talking about scanning technology where you can see your physiological issues real time. And we talked about blood tests. I mean, what if you can have, since our bodies are electric and we're mainly made of electrons, like why would we like be pulling blood out of someone? When our body's electric and we're made of electrons, we could actually scan the body and kind of basically know the issues at hand. So the reality is from the anti-aging bed, that's more of a consumer product, to something in a wellness center, or if you're like a celebrity client, a lot of people have this in their homes. So from A to Z, from wellness center to home, there is a major solution for you. And part of it's just knowing what you're doing. Like, the cool thing about our scanner is, like, if you spend an hour on it, you can actually measure the difference before and after. What did it actually improve upon? What did it actually even do? You don't see that in the current health sector. You have no idea whether something's working or not working. You have no proof a lot of times, right? If someone got you on chemo, is there really a lot of proof of what is happening or not happening? Is there proof of the health side of it? Is there proof of the damaging effects of it? No, you don't really have that. And like you're saying, they give you such a weird spectrum. It makes no sense when reality and data is the full spectrum. If you just got the straight up analytics and the data straight up without any filters, how would that change your life versus someone to say, hey, we're going to do a blood test on you, but we know maybe what the problem is, but we're going to look over here in this spectrum right here when the problem's right here. And then we're going to pull you over here and sell you something. So that's what I see in the conventional medicine side. There's not a lot of common sense, but there is a lot of common sense when it comes to billing you. Third party payer, that pill costs $1 to make, or maybe 20 cents, but they charge you $10,000 for that pill. So we know that world is ending. That world is not really completely ending, but the doctors out there are saying that they're tired of just writing prescriptions, not really knowing their patients. So there is an era. We're likely living in the era where a lot of major changes are going to happen. So the cool thing is that technology and the things that we've been working on, the so-called alternatives. The so-called alternatives is where people hang out that are, investing in their health. Like you say, hey, Tom Brady, do you think Tom Brady is using conventional medicine? He can't be, right? You can't play over 40 years old in the NFL eating Twinkies and Coke and saying that this is conventional medicine is allowing me to do this. No, he's not. He actually probably believes the opposite. He believes nutrition, exactly what you're talking about. Getting the proper nutrition might be one hell of a lot better situation than, listening to your doctor on nutrition. So like in that sense, Julie, like how much more, like you spent your life in this realm. We know that the current sector, the current conventional medicine, I think all that's required is like 4 hours of nutrition study to become the highest level practitioner. Yet you've been studying nutrition your whole life.
Yeah, when I went to grad school, I was at like the number one school of public health, and that school, their medical school right there at UNC, was just going to be the first one to start having one nutrition class for doctors. Like they up until that time, they didn't have any, like zero. And so yeah, it's pretty sad. And I had as part of the training, we had to work in the hospital kitchen and serve the doctors. I assure you, they do not eat healthy. I mean, granted, that was a little bit in the South and a couple of years ago, but um, you know, most of your doctors, ask them if they run or play sports or sweat, or ask them if they know, about sauna or shock therapy or cold therapy. Ask them, like, and if they really just don't know, then maybe find a different doctor, because some doctors I see doctors at the holistic conferences. There are more and more every year that are starting to at least understand or suggest something. If your doctor doesn't know the benefit of a probiotic or CoQ10, find somebody else.
Yeah, like that cafeteria food is going to help you, right? It only has high fructose corn syrup, and the ravioli is not even real, but this is what they feed people in the cafeteria of the hospital.
Well, not that. While my son was in middle school, two of his dearest friends had cancer. So just like heartbreaking for the kids themselves that had it, heartbreaking for their friends. I went to the hospital to visit the kids, and during their treatment, they're feeding them soda and Doritos and frozen pizza. And I was like, do you want these kids to heal, or like, are you trying to kill them? Like, I cannot even comprehend that the parents would let them eat this food when they already have cancer. Like, and then one of the moms, I had said to her earlier on, before we knew her kid had cancer, something about organic and eating clean. And she's like, it's too complicated to figure that out. And then her kid got cancer. So it's like, where do you draw the line? Being healthy might be more work, but once you understand it, it's actually pretty easy. And that's where that simple health solution, the stuff John has, like lying on a mattress, taking a cool pillowcase when you travel, like super easy. The scanner, lying on it. Is a scanner, people have to come there to use it, or can you do it remote?
We can do a remote, of course, now. So like hair and nail samples can be tested for DNA and analyzed. And so like between that and just sleeping on something you're going to bed anyways, it's like it is an investment in your health, but it's like, what are you doing to stop these EMFs? Like you were saying earlier, well, someone, like, if they're not aware of it, then they're not aware of it. They're not educated enough to think that something they could put on their cell phone could help them. Right. They're just like, I am in a dazed and confused situation. Everything requires too much thoughts, energy, time, expenses. And so they've been indoctrinated into this, go for what's easy. Don't use your own common sense or critical thinking. Just agree with the person that's in front of you, and they'll fear you into the right position, right? So this breakdown is what this conversation we had today, and breaking it down for people, I think is ultra relevant, because like that is the conversations that actually get people to move to the right direction or give them another option. Because regardless, like, having options is never a bad situation. To say that, oh, another option is a painful process, is to say, wow, my kid got cancer. It's just like, you could have considered it. What appeared to be a small Band-Aid to begin with is now a major issue. Who wants to deal with that? No one. And I'm just so thankful and grateful that I had you on the show today. I know we're at like the hour mark, but like, comment, share, guys. Like, comment, share, because literally, like, why are we doing this? We're doing this to get the information out, the truth. And if you know someone, I say this at some conferences, raise your hand if you know someone with a chronic disease. Every single hand goes up. So it's like, if you're not liking, sharing, commenting, like, it may not be you, but maybe another time when someone shares something or comments, the what they're talking about may help you. And so that's why we ask that people get the message out, because no one's looking out for you. We do this because we have a passion, a mission, a purpose to help people, and there is none of this infomercial stuff. What we see in biohacking is a lot of times an infomercial type of scenario. You won't get that here. By all means, we're educating and informing you, and that's why I do this. I don't have to do this show. But the thing is, we do this show because, like, so many people have had success stories. So many people were in a similar situation. So a lot of people know what happened to me. And so why not? Why not give you guys some information that could be changing your family's life, your child, someone else's child, and know where to go. When you hear and you know and you learn, you'll know where to go when the time is right. And I definitely believe that happened today. I learned a lot on this show. So with that being said, thank you for joining. Thank you, Julie, so much. Is any last things you would like to say?
Something that a tagline I often say is, you pay for wellness now or illness later. So take your pick.
Okay. Short and sweet. So yeah, it's so true. Invest in your health, because no one is coming to save you. That's a dark truth. And don't let it get too late. And yeah, I just wanted to thank you once again, Julie. We'll have to get you back on, and we can cover some more topics and laugh about them, or cry over them. Right. So yeah, thank you so much. I wish you a beautiful day in California. And remember, guys, visit her site. It's on the screen, Julie E. Health. Reach out to her. Literally, you have no idea. I'm going to be buying that mud solution, the different types, and I'm going to do a class, and we're going to start testing it on people.
Excellent. I also have a mentorship program starting in January, where I'm going to be teaching 6 to 8 practitioners to do what I do, so that we can spread this. Beautiful. You can find that on my website as well.
I like that. That's the ripple effect. Get it out there. So yeah, reach out, and that's all we have today. So thank you guys so much. And until next time, reach us on the Baxter Effect.
Have a healthy day.